whatever it is we find interesting. I'm your host, Calvin, and joining me from the Watchtower, it's your co-host, Nick Richardson.
I'm Batman.
Oh, got Batman, actually, not
Yeah.
Nick Richardson here
Yeah,
today.
I mean,
Batman himself.
Batman himself. Or I just play one on TV.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
Or on radio / podcasting, platforms.
That was a good Batman voice, I'll give you that.
I practice every day in the mirror. I look at myself, I say, Nick, you're going to get it today. And, I feel pretty good about that.
It was a good Batman voice, I'll give you that. Anyway, we are not talking just Batman. We're not talking the Watchtower. We're talking specifically Avengers versus Justice League. Mostly comics, maybe some movies.
Pretty much every platform which they have appeared.
Everything we can mix in.
Even the cereal boxes, because they've been there.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're not on a cereal box, have you really lived?
I don't know. We should ask Jordan. Oh, I thought of the most tacky, horrible joke to that. Glad I didn't say that.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
Do you know what I'm thinking, though?
No, I don't. Don't do it, though.
All right.
You'll have to tell me after.
Okay. Off air.
Anyway, so we're talking Avengers versus Justice League, kind of history of both sides, lineups, all kinds of things. We're just going to dive into it.
Let's get it, bro.
Go for it.
Go
Tell me what the Avengers are.
All right, the Avengers, as we know, are Earth's mightiest heroes, guys. If you don't know the Avengers, you've lived under a rock for the past 10 plus years.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah, they're a little bit big. They're everywhere, even on cereal boxes big. But they came, to fruition in the old 1963 as a direct retaliation to the DC League of Justice, aka the Justice League, that debuted in 1960. We'll get to that later, though. But Stan Lee got together with his homeboy, and he said, listen, dude, we need to create something tight, Jack. And Jack said, all right, Stan, let's do it. So they went ahead.
We got all these superheroes. Why don't they help each other?
Pretty much. They're just like, okay, hear me out. What if these big, super awesome badasses hung out? What would happen? Obviously, they'd fight crime, and they wrote a comic book series about it.
Yeah, they did. It was called The Avengers, and The Avengers debuted in The Avengers #1, September 1963, written by your friend, Stan Lee. Rest
He's
in
everybody's
peace.
friend. Yeah.
Yeah, he really is.
You know what? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to continue on with who helped create it, but you seemed like you had a better thought, so go ahead with that.
No, not necessarily. I'm just overeager to talk about the Avengers and the Justice League.
I get that. So it was the first issue of the Avengers. It was penciled by Jack Kirby, inked by Dick Ayers. It's not a good name. Colored by Stan Golding and lettered by Sam Rosen. And then the cover artists were Jack Kirby and our good friend Dick Ayers. And edited by Stan Lee, as much of the early Marvel run of anything was.
Yeah, he had a hand in pretty much everything. I just find it weird that they actually debuted the Avengers in their own premiere comic book instead of kind of organically in other, series or individual runs. Like, you'd think that, I don't know, with some of their original roster, like Ant-Man,
Test it out a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, like they
maybe
usually
they
debut.
did. I haven't read a lot of 1960s comics, but there's a chance that Ant-Man's having these conversations with the Wasp, kind of saying like, "Hey, we need some help.
Yeah, because
we can't do this alone."
Definitely, they're like, we're really sick of getting our fucking asses whooped.
That last guy, he just stepped on us because we were too small.
Yeah, he caught us off guard. We were fucked. And I'm tired of everyone hitting on you.
So I'm going to invite more dudes in. And
yeah, but
maybe
guys,
that'll even out.
They all have problems. The Wasp, I heard, hates green people. And, he's already going to become Giant Man in the near future. And then, some dude in a suit of armor and a god. Fuck all those guys. They're chumps. Chumps.
Yeah. So on the other side of the coin, we've got the Justice League, which they did not debut in their own #1 comic.
No, they did not. They actually debuted in a story in The Brave and the Bold #28. And they, like I said, preceded the Avengers, as they debuted in 1960. And, the I loved how the breadth of characters, so the original seven, Aquaman, Batman, Flash, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, Superman, and Wonder Woman, um, you know, they're created by a wide range of artists and stuff like that instead of just a central team or basically two guys that created all of them. And they also fight the dumbest shit on Earth. If in their first appearance they battle Starro the Conqueror, a
Yeah,
giant
Starro's
alien
a weird
starfish.
dude.
Well, what kind of shit is that? That's DC, kind
Yeah.
of in a nutshell.
DC doesn't mind getting weird at all. Like
No,
they're down for like just what's the craziest thing you can think of? A starfish that terrorizes human? Fuck it, let's do it.
yeah, that's
Let's let's get all the heroes together to fight him because
ex-
obviously Aquaman can't handle that on his own.
yeah. I mean, he can't talk to me. He's not gonna talk to this
I think
guy.
Starro's a Wonder Woman villain though.
Really? See,
Thought so.
that's something I couldn't say for sure. My DC lore is actually pretty lacking. Or at least
DC lore, like it's impossible to not be lacking on DC lore. It's changed so many times, it's insane. It doesn't make any sense even if it hasn't changed so many times. Like, fuck it.
yeah, we've discussed that briefly. I imagine before. I'm guessing on the Flashpoint episode.
Yeah, we did. We definitely talked about it on Flashpoint. Because I think I talked about Dark Knight Metals, which I think I'll mention again here at some point.
Oh yeah,
So the Justice League was written by Gardner Fox, penciled by Mike Sekowsky,
Mike
uh,
Skowski.
inked by Bernard Sachs, good old Benny Sachs, Joe Gilia, Murphy Anderson, and then lettered by Gaspar Saldino, edited by Julius Schwartz, and the cover artists were Mike Sekowsky, Murphy Anderson, and Jack Adler.
I'm digging these names. They just have so
Yeah.
many great names.
1960s names were fantastic.
They really fucking were.
I don't necessarily like want to bring them back, but I can dig it.
It's a thing, you know. It's one of those beautiful things from the past. It's like you see Amish people riding around in carriage and buggy, and you're just like, that's pretty
kinda
cool.
cool. That would be cool for an afternoon, but I wouldn't want it to be my life. Yeah.
No, hell no. And if my name was, Mike
Benny Sachs.
Sekowsky, yeah, or Benny Sachs, or Dick anything, really. I knew a kid named Dick in
There's not
high
many
school.
dicks anymore.
No, he got really mad if you called him Dick.
They're all going by Rich nowadays.
Yep, Richard,
They all got-
Henry.
They all got smart.
Shout out all you dicks.
Shout out to the dicks of the world. Both real and imagined. So let's talk. You alluded a little bit that the Avengers and the Justice League, the rosters aren't always stagnant. They started somewhere, and it kind of evolved through each age of the comics. And let's just kind of go through. We'll do the Avengers first. We'll go through their evolutions. We'll pick some of our favorite lineups, favorite members, and just roll with it. And then we'll talk Justice League, and then we're gonna clash them,
Oh,
as
fuck yeah.
every podcast has to if they talk about this.
We're gonna be kids that, rediscover all our old action figures, and they're gonna have a big fight. It's gonna be dope.
So are you gonna go? Do you want to do Marvel or DC?
I think I'll do Marvel because I'm a sucker.
Okay,
All
go
right,
for it. Start us in the Silver Age.
let's
Explain what the Silver Age is first, of course.
The Silver Age is an age of comic books. They got kind of how humanity is broken into epochs. Comic books have an age too, brother. The Silver Age was from 1956 to 1970, and
Give or
obviously, yeah, we didn't go to the prior age. I forget what it's called. I think it's the
It
Copper
doesn't matter.
Age.
It was
Something
like
like that?
Superman was the only guy that existed.
Pretty much. Or
Batman was super weird at the time.
yeah, he's more Adam West than anything. But that's kind of when the Avengers actually appear. The starting lineup for the Avengers was Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Ant-Man, and the Wasp. Which I always thought was kind of fucking weird. Like, what an odd combination.
Yeah, they don't. Thor and Hulk, you got kind of the same skill set there of just like this muscle man. Iron Man's basically useless, especially in the 60s.
Yeah, he's
I know we're going to
shit-faced
get a
all
lot
the
of
time.
MCU fans that are like, Iron Man's not useless, but like in the 60s he was.
He was
And then
drunk.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, again, same exact power set.
Well, and I think at the same time they're all relatively, except for Thor and even Thor and Hulk are kind of like second-rate heroes in the crazy amount of heroes that Marvel created.
At that time, there weren't many more. I mean, Captain America, Black Panther are out there at the time. Namor, I think, was out there at the time. There wasn't like Spider-Man wasn't around yet. Um, I don't know. I can't think of other ones off the top of my head, but like it wasn't as evolved as it is now.
Well,
And
yeah.
this is my of the Silver Age. That would be my favorite lineup is the Founders plus Captain America, which he makes his first appearance in Avengers number 4, and he's actually retroactively given Founder status. They're just like, yeah, you know what, you're good enough. You can be with us.
Yeah, we like you. We'll call.
Uh,
It's early. It's early. We'll call it.
so I personally like that lineup just because there's all these other ancillary. And the lineups didn't really change. Usually kept a core 3 or 4, and then 1 or 2 people would come in for an issue or two, and then they'd get replaced the next issue. So it was never like it wasn't fully reinventing within an age.
Yeah, it was
That kind of
definitely.
happened in between, and then you realize, okay, these are the new guys.
They like picked up utility players, as
Exactly.
they needed them, and they kind of shed them as they go, and they always had like one holdover from every age. It felt like, or at
Yeah,
least
like one
one or
guy's
two.
just hanging on to like this idea of like we got to keep this shit going, guys, and everybody else is like, nah, fuck you, man.
Usually it's Tony Stark because he's like, fuck man, I gotta pay all this shit off. It's all in my name.
I'm too drunk to fight crime on my own. I need some help, guys.
Yeah, seriously, I just want to look cool and have a suit of armor. But
I don't actually want to fight. I don't want to get any scratches on this.
yeah, this costs like $2 billion, so
What's Hulk doing?
please.
Hulk can help me, right?
Yeah, come on, Hulk. You're my guy. And then he crushes him. He's like, bitch. But that is also that is my favorite lineup from that age, is the Founders, man. Especially before they got overly complicated. Like, Tony Stark, as we mentioned, he's just a drunk. Like, he's a drunk. It hadn't really gotten into the inspection of depression and
Yeah, that
alcoholism and
doesn't
stuff like
happen
that
until like the
yet.
80s, I think.
Oh,
The
no.
Demon in the Bottle
Yep.
arc and all that stuff.
And
Um,
Thor is the god of thunder. Hulk's the whole, it's a lot simpler time
None of them
in
were
Marvel
very deep
Comics.
characters at the time.
No.
Hulk was pretty deep because of why and how he changed. Captain America, he wasn't deep, but he had a bit richer of a backstory at the time. Um, the Wasp had like nothing. She was like the woman of the group. She was
Yeah,
very clearly the token woman. She was basically their secretary.
I'm pretty sure
And
that.
Ant-Man was the smart guy.
Well, yeah, and I'm pretty sure he also smacked her in one of the
Oh
Avengers
yeah,
comics too.
a
That's a
lot.
meme out there. I've seen that.
Yeah, it was like a thing that happened often.
And that fucked up, man. They're like, yeah, and everybody's just like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
We're Earth's mightiest heroes. Wow, that's fucked up.
So out of this lineup at that time, who would you pick? Or not even that lineup, just overall anyone who served as an Avenger during that time. Who would you say was your favorite?
Yeah, Hulk. Hulk
Hulk.
was my.
Hulk's a good
I
pick.
Hulk was an early favorite of mine, and my dad always really liked the Hulk and would talk about him constantly. As I grew up, I kind of lessened on my Hulk love, but yeah, the Hulk was fucking dope back in the day, especially when he was like the character they used to introduce a lot of new characters. Like they did that with Wolverine and a bunch of that was the first one off the top of my head, but a bunch of characters in the Marvel universe they used the Hulk to kind of clash with them first and then bring
Well,
him in the
because it's a
fold.
good way to show you, because he's quote unquote the most powerful, not most powerful necessarily, but the most unstoppable.
Yeah,
So it's good if you've got a new character to kind of show how they rank up against the Hulk of how much can they slow him down before they get tired of it and move on.
yeah. Can they make him bleed? Yes or no? That's a category onto its
Yeah.
own.
I went with Captain. I like the Hulk. I like all your reasons for picking the Hulk, but I went with Captain America. I've always had this thing for Cap. Even though like I'm not overly drawn to the whole Boy Scout persona, but I like Cap. Like I don't like Superman, but I like Captain America. And
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
because Captain America is still flawed.
oh, definitely. He's not OP.
And there's something about just going into these types of battles that the Avengers face with a shield. Like that's your fucking weapon is a shield.
Oh,
Not a
dude,
great
yeah.
weapon.
The balls
And
on this guy.
the shield is a dope ass weapon, and it always comes back to him. That's a cool thing that happens with the shield. I didn't like in Infinity War, the movie, when he went into battle with the goofy Wakandan golf gauntlets.
No, those were very odd.
Like
I wasn't
Wakanda, you
feeling
got
them.
to do something better there.
Why don't you give him dual round shields?
Yo, what the hell's he gonna do with these little spikes on his arms? Come
No,
on now.
yeah, I don't know.
He said get this man a shield, and then he gave him these goofy ass things. I didn't like it.
Give him like a quarter shield on his forearm. Like, here you go, be your
Yeah,
most important part. Here is your forearm cards.
that'll protect you from all these fucking demon monsters that are coming at us.
big claws.
So should we move on to the next age?
I
Titled
gotta say,
the Bronze Age. Oh, go ahead.
I like that pick. I love Captain too.
Yeah.
Really grew on me with the Avengers movies. My wife's a huge Captain fan, so that is a good pick.
He's my second favorite Marvel hero.
Damn.
Next to Spider.
Damn.
I mean, who else is there? You gonna pick Hawkeye? Come on.
Whoa. 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 Let me say that third time for emphasis. Now let's move on to the Bronze Age.
All right, Bronze Age.
Boom. Bronze Age is 1970 to 1985. Obviously a very...
I extended my Bronze Age to 1990 just because I thought it fit better as when I moved into the present age as 90 to present.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, that...
Just going to point it out here.
I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. But this was a time when, basically the entire nation was changing rapidly.
Yes. Cold War stuff going on.
Oh, yeah. Cold War, civil rights, women's rights, all kinds of stuff is going on. And that really reflected in the comic books. There was a lot of creativity flowing, a lot of drugs. Just going to say that right now. They came up with some weird-ass shit.
There's some weird-ass heroes going around here. What was the OG lineup of the Bronze Age? Like 1975, who's hitting on, I guess it would be like Avengers number 47 or something. So who we got on those pages?
I mean, the OG lineup is going to be your final lineup from the previous epoch coming into it. And they kind of quickly split, as you said, but I like to keep them as the starters.
Well, so the final lineup goes into 1975, but they started branching off, like you said, here, 1975 moving forward. My favorite lineup from this time would have to be the West Coast Avengers.
Ooh.
This is one of those branches. Hawkeye starts it. They've got Mockingbird, War Machine, Wonder Man, and Tigra. And I like the idea that Hawkeye's got to bring this team together because the regular New York Avengers, that's where the OG Avengers are stationed, they just can't be bothered to deal with anything on the West Coast. Like, shit, California needs help too, but Iron Man can't quite handle actually getting there. So we'll just send out, this Iron Man 2.0 and bow and arrow guy. They'll take care of it.
Yeah, they could live out there. It's freaking nice out there. I'd much rather live on the West Coast than you.
Yeah, to be honest, I'd want to be a member of West Coast Avengers as opposed to New York Avengers. Plus, there's not as much pressure on those guys. It's the B
Definitely
team.
not.
Nobody's expecting anything out of them.
Well, and War Machine's
Wonder
not
Man? Come on.
a fucking drunk. Wonder Man's dope. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna throw that out
Yeah,
there.
but do you expect a lot out of him going into battle?
I mean, I expect wondrous things, Calvin.
Okay. What do you got for a favorite lineup from the Bronze Age?
I'm going with the Avengers from the 1980s, specifically 1980, and first appearing, well, my favorite is Avengers from number 193. Dude, it is a fucking Banana Land series. It's Frank Miller. This is one of his first introductions. He does the cover of it. Oh, fucking love Frank Miller. And you got all kinds of people on there. You got Beast, Vision, Iron Man, Black Widow, Cap, Falcon, and Carol Danvers before she really becomes like in her original Miss Marvel costume.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's I love it for a couple reasons. Frank Miller does a fantastic cover. What'd you say?
I said that's a good lineup.
Yeah, I enjoy that lineup. It's I really, I gotta say, Beast is my favorite member from that lineup, but he's probably the most useless.
Yeah, I can't what's he gonna do in a battle really?
Jump off stuff in crazy manners and shed like crazy.
He's pretty strong, but I'd rather have Hulk.
Oh, definitely.
If I'm going for a strong man.
It's a really well-rounded unit, and as their strong man, which is he stronger than Captain America?
That's a good question.
That's debatable. I would like
think
to know.
So. Yeah, it'd be a close debate, but I think Cap is still kind of limited to human limitations, right? He's strong, but he's as strong as a human can be.
I mean, he held back
Beast
a helicopter.
Has got beastly. Yeah, but this is 1980s comics. You can't bring something from the Civil War movie. They're different things.
Well, I get that, but I mean, I feel like
But
things were more
at the
exaggerated back
same
then.
time, Chris Evans actually did that, so that's actual human strength capable of doing that. So
Wait, he actually fucking did that?
yeah, that's not CG.
No shit.
Yeah.
Huh. You learn
I
something new
doubt
every
I
day.
doubt the helicopter was like actively flying away from him,
Yeah, they
but
probably rip his
he was
fucking
holding
arm off.
it because they knew that was the only way to get his muscles to pop right.
Huh. That's pretty cool. That's a cool little fun fact. I, I
There you go.
For strongman, I'm gonna have to go with Vision because he's not such a little pussy as he is in the movies. He's, a fucking badass in the comic books, especially
Yeah,
at
he's
this
got
time.
some good power.
He's like Superman, but a cyborg that shoots lasers from his forehead instead of his eyeballs.
There you go. So like Cyclops almost then.
The literal Cyclops.
I like from this era. She wasn't on my team, but I liked She-Hulk. I like that. I like She-Hulk because she allows herself to be hulked out full time, and it never bothered her to have that part of her like it did Bruce Banner. She's a fucking lawyer, and she'd show up to court cases fully hulked out, and like, how's anyone gonna stand a chance against that in a courtroom? Like, no one's beating her in a courtroom. She's a fucking Hulk.
Oh hell no! Especially if she roared at you, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm good, Your Honor, I
And I
quit."
mean, plus she's a badass fighter when she's not kicking ass at her day job. So like, she does it all really.
Well, it's that, and
She
it's
brings home the bacon and fries it too.
and then feeds it to you. But I love that she keeps her smarts. Like she's entirely in control of herself and
Right.
is super badass. But I don't think she has the option of changing back into a human. Like I think she's permanently She-Hulked out. And
Right, but
I,
as far as I know, that's like a life she chose.
well, I'd have to do some more
Yeah, I'd
research
have to
on
do
that.
more She-Hulk
That
research. But that
show
was always
changes
my
like
understanding
crazy.
of it, is like she wanted to be that person.
I could see that. I mean, pretty much every guy that sees her in the comic books is like, "Hey, be Green Lady. I want to climb you."
Yeah, I mean, can you blame him?
I can't. I can't.
Did you have a favorite member, or was that Vision?
No, no. Beast. Beast
Beast.
is my
Oh yeah,
favorite
yeah,
member. I fucking love Beast.
yeah. Beast is good.
He's awesome.
Beast is
The '90s cartoon Beast is really what comes to mind, but his comic book, counterpart is awesome.
absolutely. I was watching a little of that '90s series the other day, and Beast is just like, he's stoic and he's smart, but he knows that he can let loose when he needs to.
Yeah, and he hangs upside down like a champ all the time.
Well, it's just easier to read that way.
Apparently, I've tried. I grew very disoriented, then I fell and hit my head. It was fucked up.
Yeah, that's weird. So let's move into the modern age,
The modern age,
1990 to the present,
dude.
or
This is
1985, 1990-ish,
yeah,
late
modern
80s
age.
into now.
Yeah, the lines blur. I think.
Yeah.
I've seen different dates, but I'm gonna go with the basics that I could find are the most consensual among websites that I could find was 1985 to the present, and that's when shit really gets weird. The early 90s was a super odd time, full of pockets, belts, and unneeded accessories. So that comes into it, I gotta say. But I had a very specific favorite lineup that's near and dear to me. It kind of led my renaissance with comic books, and that was the New Avengers in 2005.
That's the exact same team I picked.
Really?
Yes. It's a
Dude,
good
they
team,
are
man.
so good, and they evolve so quickly into a more badass team. But I picked the New Avengers #1 up off a comic book shelf and was just immediately like, the art's amazing, love the style, love the actual team, love them. They it's comprised of a bunch of people really really quick, but it starts with Luke Cage, Cap, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, and really really quickly by like issue 10, I want to say, it has Wolverine, the Sentry, and Ronin, which is also, we got an iteration of that in Avengers Endgame or Infinity War.
Yeah.
No, Endgame.
Endgame. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
douchey Ronin.
yeah, douchey Ronin. We got Bronin.
Ronin.
I'm
Nice.
I'm patenting that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Motherfucking Bronin. But anyway, he's way cooler in the comics.
I could see that, and I just like the idea of Luke Cage kind of bringing this team together. He's kind of the team leader here, and gives it a more street level feel, and works towards something different than we just got to save the world all the time. Like he wants help because the world everywhere needs help, you know.
Yeah, and it's very
And same with
localized at
Wolverine.
first.
Like the main members there are Wolverine, Sentry, and Ronin was the list that I grabbed. That was the main lineup of that time period, and they're all like they're not big, world event stopping heroes. They're guys who are gonna help out day to day issues.
Yeah, they're there for the greater good, and
Mm.
they started off so perfectly with there's a prison called the Raft with all the villains on it, and so it's a really localized iteration of the Avengers at first. It's pretty much held to New York, and I remember reading it, and there's a point where Spider-Man is talking to Mary Jane. He's like, I have to fucking go. Like, I have to go do this, even though he fully expected not to come back. And they end up going to the Raft, and you run into Daredevil, and obviously Luke Cage, and Spider-Man, and all these New York street-level superheroes. And I think you're right, dude. That really helped bring it home, or make it more memorable in my
Yeah, and
mind.
it's more relatable. Of like these guys are just trying to save their neighborhood.
Mhm.
They're not dropping Sokovia on the world.
No, he's kissing his wife and saying, I hope I come home, honey, but, this may be it. But,
Which, I mean, that brings me to my favorite individual member, which is Spider-Man, because
mm-hmm.
I'm just always going to pick Spider-Man, right?
Dude,
He joined as a reserve member in Avengers number 329, which was February 91. He was also a member of Future Foundation at this time, which that's another cool team that deserves its own look at.
fun fact, guys, I actually have Future Foundation issue 1, first appearance of Future Foundation Spider-Man,
Nice.
signed by the artist on my wall right in front of me.
Awesome.
Fuck yeah, fun fact. I might post
Yeah,
that on Twitter.
that Future Foundation Spidey suit's great.
Dude, it's ballin'.
He was never really a full member of the Avengers, but that's okay. He didn't like to waste his time with like the bureaucracy of a large team. He just he knew if they needed him, he was there.
Definitely, but and one of the conditions he had is most of the Avengers' identities were known, and he was not willing to let that happen.
Right. Not until Civil War, till Tony Stark was a dick.
Yeah, fucking Tony Stark, which happened in this run of comics in the New Avengers. I think it was 19, 20, 21, and so on, where it started going into Civil War.
Never gonna forgive Tony Stark for that.
Yeah, that motherfucker. He
just-
comes off way more dickish in the comics too.
Oh, absolutely. Spider-Man brings so many new dynamics to the team. He always understands, and this is kind of what we were saying about Luke Cage and Ronin and Sentry, of like he understands how all this big stuff can affect the street level issues, and he's not like afraid to speak his mind about it. To be like when Tony Stark and Cap are worried about, well, this thing's gonna destroy the whole world, and Spider-Man will be like, yeah, but my aunt needs to get to the hospital today and she can't.
Yeah, I have to take her. This happens. This is
Jesus,
a bad.
Aunt May, get healthy, come on.
Yeah, seriously, or fucking get an Uber. That sounds terrible. Sick
Can't
old
imagine Aunt May
grandma.
in the Uber.
Oh man, my grandma is rolling over in her grave thinking about if I sent her in a fucking Uber.
I've been watching the Friday Night Lights show lately for the first time, and Matt Saracen with his grandma reminds me a lot of that, with the Peter Parker Aunt May relationship.
It's a great relationship. It's got to be cute.
So,
Hell
are we
yeah.
ready to move on to the evolution of the Justice League?
Dude. I think so. I fanboyed over Spider-Man long enough. I fucking love Spider-Man.
I mean, we've done full episodes on Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Two of them.
It's
think
probably
we
my
need to go
favorite iteration.
Super deep. If you had anything specific more to say on Spider-Man, I'm here for it, though.
No, I think that's it.
All right, cool. All right.
Let's do it.
Justice League. So, DC's hard for me. I was really hoping you would pick DC, because now I got to lead the show on DC, and I don't follow that nearly as closely and don't know a lot of the ancillary characters, and they have just so many ancillary characters, and each of them has this super deep backstory that's just drenched in lore, and it's impossible to follow, and the lore's been rewritten 4 times now, and so I'll do my best. DC fanboys, please don't come at me. I'm just doing my best.
You got this, bro.
We'll see what we do.
Luckily,
So Silver Age, 1956 1975, as we talked about before. Uh, this is the original lineup: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter.
It's a
And
great
there weren't,
lineup.
yeah, there weren't a ton of other Justice League lineups in that Silver Age. Like they didn't add all these other people as quickly as the Avengers did. Like it was these, what I count, 7 or 8. It was
The
these
seven.
8. Well, you didn't count Martian Manhunter earlier. Martian Manhunter's in there. That's 8. But they really covered all the bases you could think of. Like they had everything. They have, Superman, who on his own can do everything. They got Wonder Woman, who's a god like Thor. They've got the Flash, who's a speedster. They've got Green Lantern, who's got celestial powers. They've got Aquaman, who covers the sea, and then you've got Martian Manhunter, who can, change the shape of his body.
7.
No, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, the Flash. Damn it, it's 7.
But this is I mean, they're the most OP characters, and they're the
Well,
the
they're gods.
characters in DC Comics, which is, I mean, everybody knows those characters, and I think it's due mainly to being the original big giant team, and they've just been around longer. Most of these characters have been around longer than Marvel.
Well, absolutely, and they're gods. They're all super. Other than Batman, like they all have otherworldly powers. Even the Flash, he gets his speed from the Speed Force, unlike Quicksilver, who's a mutant who's just fast, right?
Yeah,
So
good
they
point.
all have, and anytime they need more power, they get more power.
More power.
So who's your favorite individual member from this lineup?
Batman. I'm Batman. Fucking Batman, dude. Batman's the shit.
Batman's cool.
Yeah. I gotta go with Batman, even mostly because back in the original age of Justice League, he was still the world's greatest detective first before Batman. I don't
That's
know.
all he can bring to this team at this point.
Pretty
Like
much.
everybody's got all the powers that they need. Somebody's got to be the brains behind this.
And he is the super brains behind it. It's I think I always looked at it as more of a clever and sophisticated Batman than he is now, which is really fucking hard to say.
Well, now it's just like it. Now it's a heavier reliance on. Well, he's always 3 steps ahead of you because he's Batman. It's not like he's not. They don't show him thinking his way through things. They just show him having a solution, and you're just supposed to think he got there well because he's Batman and he knows everything.
Right, and a fuck ton of money and cool toys, and that's
Well,
kind
and he's
of
smart. Like they
yeah.
give him the credit of genius level intellect. They just don't show you the work on it anymore.
They
There's
definitely
like,
used
oh,
to do
he's ready
that.
for this super weird thing that happened because he's Batman and he's ready for everything. Always.
Fucking Batman.
I picked the Flash because it's
Good
kind of like
pick.
Spider-Man for me. Anytime I can pick the Flash, especially Barry Allen Flash, I'm going to. I like how the Flash uses his speed and brain to kind of think around problems rather than punching through them. Because even with Batman, as much as we talk about how smart he is and he's the world's greatest detective, he still just punches through a lot of problems.
A lot
And
of jobs.
The Flash finds other ways to get around things sometimes. And he's just a fun character. He adds some levity to the galactically important conversations that Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are having.
In such a great way because he is a smart dude, especially in this age. He's very very intelligent and
Yeah,
not
he's
the
not just like he's not like a dumb comic relief. He's like being a smartass to these people as they're talking about like how Doomsday's gonna fuck up the whole world.
it helps ground the series big time. He's very Spider-Man-esque in that regard.
Yes, like if you start making Batman quip, like I'm not gonna buy that.
No, fuck that.
But
But
Barry
Flash
Allen, he
though,
can always quip.
hell yeah.
So let's move into the Bronze Age, 1975 to 1990,
Dang.
or 1985, 1990. That era.
Within 5 years of
This,
these dates.
yeah, this was kind of a weird time. It seemed like they were doing a lot of international teams. Like they had their main team, and again, like the Justice League, the core members didn't change that much as the Avengers did. So they kind of they struck out. They had like Justice League Europe, Justice League International, Justice League Asia. Like they had these kind of regional, otherworldly ones. So for my favorite lineup here, I picked the Justice League International, which was Blue Beetle, Captain Marvel, aka Shazam, Doctor Fate, Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, Mr. Miracle, and Doctor Light.
There's several. There's also, did you say Booster Gold?
Yeah, Booster Gold's in there. Like they had other people
Fire.
coming in. This was like the
Oh my God.
original international lineup, and then they added these other people in the later issues.
Yeah, they went pretty hard. That's also my pick with Justice League International in that epoch because I felt like that was the pioneer in the gigantic rosters. Like
Yeah.
these people, I mean, just mega
It
missions with
was
like
almost
15
this thing
heroes.
of let's see how far we can expand. Let's see how many teams we can make. So then one day we can bring them together.
Let's do it. And then we're gonna
I don't
make
know
those
that they ever got
huge.
to that point, because even with like Crisis on Infinite Earths, that's not really what happened. Um, so it's just they wanted to. It looked like they wanted to spread out. They wanted to take over the world with superhero teams was what they were trying to do, and the Justice League is very thorough when putting a team together. Like they make sure that they've got their bases. You got technology guy in Blue Beetle. You've got godlike powers in Captain Marvel and Doctor Fate. You've got again the cosmic powers of Green Lantern. I don't really know what Mister Miracle's capable of. And then Doctor Light's
He's
got some
weird.
cool powers. And then like you said, Booster Gold and some of these other people that join the team later. Like they really don't want to leave any stone unturned when it comes to saving wherever they are.
Yeah, you definitely. They're very thorough. That's for fucking sure. And I mean, everybody's just ready to jump on the Justice League bandwagon. And with the name Justice League International, how could you not take over the world?
Exactly. So who's your favorite member from this era?
It was a really hard pick for me, but I got to go with Blue Beetle. Um,
That's a good pick. I like Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle is fucking awesome, and it's before he became omnipotent and later, the modern era. Really, he can do anything, and his suit
Yeah,
of armor can
they
do
tried
anything.
recently they've tried to turn him into DC's version of Iron Man. Because
Exactly.
they can't fuck with Batman too much where he's just covered in armor like Iron Man is. Because that's really the comp would really be Batman to Iron Man, but they can't fuck with Batman in that way, but they can kind of put all that technology onto someone like a Blue Beetle.
And he's just like, yeah, let's. He does crazy weird shit with it now, whereas back then it was more of like a ancient Egyptian
Yeah, the
mythological type
scarab.
stuff. Yeah, it was a lot cooler in that regard. So that's, yeah, Blue Beetle, dope. Jamie Reyes, love that character.
Yeah, always gotta love a Mexican superhero.
Yeah, Minority, let's go.
Uh, I like Captain Marvel, Shazam as an idea,
Yes.
kind of like that's a really cool like this unsuspecting. He's like 12 or 13. Just this unsuspecting kid gains these great powers and gets to be a superpowered adult with the power of like all of the gods, right?
It,
And go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that's fucking wicked, and the way they portrayed him in that era was fantastic too.
Well, and it's one thing for like Peter Parker Kirk to gain these powers, but then he continues to be a teenager. But like with Billy Batson, he literally becomes an adult, and each time he changes, he basically goes through puberty and has to deal with adult and godlike problems now all of a sudden.
Yeah, that'd be stressful as hell.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it.
Poor Billy. That's a great pick though.
So let's move into the modern age,
Love it.
which again, a lot of stuff happened in the modern age. This is post Crisis on Infinite Earths. It's post New 52, depending on when you're looking at it. Lot of rearranging going on between 1985 and present day.
So
Uh,
much.
I picked the quote unquote DC Universe lineup, which is this is, and I picked this. I haven't read any comics with this group. I just picked this on like, okay, what would I enjoy the most, right?
Yeah.
So DC Universe, you got Hawkgirl, Man-Bat, Detective Chimp, John Stewart Green Lantern, Starfire, Azrael, and Starman.
Dude,
Again,
that
just
lineup is fucking
super
wicked.
stupid fun, just random
Fuck
ass
yeah.
characters coming together. I like Azrael taking over for Batman.
Oh hell
Hawkgirl
yeah.
is basically the Wonder Woman of this team. There's a chimp, a fucking chimp on this team. You've got Man-Bat. Like, do Man-Bat and the chimp fight over animal supremacy on this team? What? How are they handling this? Who's the best animal?
He's punking out Man Bat like a motherfucker. He's like, don't
Oh
make me
yeah,
shove this banana up your ass,
because he's way
bitch.
smarter than Man-Bat, right?
Oh hell yeah.
So what do you have a different favorite lineup from the modern age?
I do. It's they nickname it the Pantheon. and I'm guessing you'll know who I'm talking about. Grant Morrison debuted, but
Mm-hmm.
it's Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Flash, Martian Manhunter, and Green Lantern. But
So it's just the original lineup again.
it's basically that, but you got Wally West in there and Kyle
Yeah.
Rayner as Green Lantern. You got Aquaman with a goddamn hook for a hand, which is
Oh, I remember that.
so
Yeah.
dope. Yeah, he's like
Yeah,
a
that's a good look for Aquaman.
way more hardcore Aquaman. And this was it was a really dark iteration of it, and that was probably my favorite part about it. Like this is really when they became gods that had I don't know, it reminded me of The Boys in a sense is a great way to say it. I think like it's that darker, they go further, they do things they normally wouldn't do. That kind of niceness has faded away a little bit, especially with Grant Morrison at the helm. Plus,
Right.
Electric Blue Superman.
Oh yeah.
Yo, I've seen that action figure everywhere.
It's a good look too. Yeah.
I mean, it looks good on him. Dude's got blue hair. Why not?
So who is your favorite individual member from this era?
Aquaman, dude. This is the
It's a
only
good
time
Aquaman.
I've ever liked Aquaman. It
Have you
was
ever
a
played Injustice? Because Aquaman is dope in Injustice.
I've never played Injustice. I've seen
Oh, it's
someone
really good.
play Injustice, and I've thought about it.
Aquaman's like one of the best characters to play with in the first Injustice. I don't remember. I liked playing Blue Beetle in the second Injustice. Aquaman they nerfed him a little bit more than it was like in the first one. They were like, you know what? Everybody always shits on Aquaman. Let's make him the best character
Yeah, let's make him
for
OP as
once.
fuck. That was he like hardcore Aquaman, or was he like, "Hi, I'm Aquaman," and then he just beat you the fuck down?
I don't know how to answer that really. I mean, he was Aquaman.
He's hardcore. This
Yeah.
version of Aquaman is battle hardened king, does not fuck with people. You know, he's kind of like the Flashpoint Aquaman. He is
Right.
nasty.
He's just over this shit. Over all
Yeah.
the pollution.
Yeah, I'm sick of McDonald's cups in my goddamn ocean.
Got a dolphin got one stuck on its nose the other day. Come on, who's
This
gonna
poor
clean
guy.
that? I went with the John Stewart Green Lantern.
Oh,
I always thought that John Stewart is the coolest Green Lantern. Way
absolutely.
cooler than Hal Jordan. Way cooler than Guy Gardner. I don't know much about Kyle Rayner to
He's
comment on
okay. He's
that.
okay.
I just always like John Stewart. I want John Stewart to be in a movie. You know, I think if they go back to Green Lantern, they need to do it with John Stewart,
Oh,
not
definitely.
Hal Jordan.
Absolutely,
Um,
100%.
Just because, like, first of all, we got too many just like vanilla ass white guys as heroes,
Yeah, no
and
shit.
John Stewart is not a vanilla ass white guy.
No, and
Plus,
I think
Tyrese wants to play him, so let's throw Tyrese in there.
no, hell no. I would not go see that movie. That'd be fucking awful.
I would love it. I would
Oh
love
man,
every
that'd be
minute
so
of it.
bad. That'd be so. We'd have to like chat with each other
It'd
the whole
it'd
time.
be a Fast and Furious Green Lantern mashup.
Fast and Green.
That's
Furious.
Fast and Furious 10 when they go to space.
Oh my
Tyrese
god.
finds his ring.
Oh my god.
Becomes John Stewart Green. Changes his name when he gets back to Earth, so nobody comes after him as Roman Pierce. Changes his name to
Dude.
John Stewart. Bam, Green Lantern. We're in it.
Oh, suck my fanfic. Get on that shit. We're gonna
Yeah.
write a fanfic about it, and you guys get on it. Do the. I can't believe. Check out our Fast and Furious episode. It's that'll explain a whole hell of a lot.
Check out like any of my Twitter interactions with anyone. I talk about Fast and Furious all the time.
If
That's
they
at
do,
APA something.
at alone_podcast. If they go that route, I will be fully on board. Otherwise, it's got to be Idris Elba.
That's the only way you can get Tyrese to do it. He's too old, man. I guess
I don't
he
know,
did
man.
good in that last. He's over 50, but he did good in the Hobbs and Shaw as like being not seeming 50.
Not
I
walking
just-
around like De Niro was.
You just
in
watch
fucking
like
Irishman.
Denzel trying to be like I watched The Equalizer 2 a couple months ago, and like Denzel just can't do action anymore, and like I'm afraid Idris Elba is getting close to that age, which I know he's probably 15, 12 years younger than Denzel, but shit, at some point you can't be an action star.
No, your body breaks down. That's what makes Daniel Craig so amazing.
John David Washington, he could do it.
Yes,
I'm for John David Washington in literally any movie.
all day, every day. I want to see Tenet real bad.
Yeah, that looks so good.
Oh, looks
All right, so this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Took us 45 minutes to get here, but we're here. We're going to clash these guys together. We're each going to pick a team from each side, and then we're gonna mash them up.
Oh,
Or
hell
do you
yeah.
think we should settle on a team from each side?
Yes, I think we
We'll
should.
each nominate 6 people, and then we'll settle on a six for each team.
5 people.
5? Okay.
Let's go 5.
Wait, we're each nominating 5 or nominating 6?
Nominating 5.
Okay. Because I've got 6 listed, so I got to take somebody off. That's gonna be hard. All right, go ahead. Go for your nominations first.
We
Your
going
5 Avengers nominations.
5 Avengers. All right, first and foremost, Spider-Man.
Okay. All right, we agree on that.
Yeah, let's go. Wolverine.
That's one. Okay.
Motherfucking Wolverine. Professor X. This one
Okay.
I had to put on there with some passion. The Sentry and Nova.
Okay. All right. All right. These were mine. Captain America is your leader for my team. Spider-Man, who we already agreed on. Hulk, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and then I had Wasp in there, but she's got to get dropped off.
You had Wasp in there?
Yeah, I had Wasp in there.
That's an easy drop off.
I don't know about that. To me, Wolverine's an easy drop off.
What?
I want Hulk over Wolverine. I want a rampaging, unstoppable monster.
Which is what Wolverine is. He's just 5'1".
Exactly. I need something bigger.
That's what she said.
Wolverine is not going to scare Superman for a single minute.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, he could. I don't know if he could cut Superman. That'd be very curious.
See, that's why you gotta go Hulk.
I mean, Superman wouldn't really be able to do. He could throw.
All right, so
Wolverine
far
really
we've agreed
far.
on Spider-Man. Let's talk about who's gonna lead our team. It seemed like the leader of your team was Professor X. Mine is Captain America.
No, I'm not going Professor X as leader. He's like the bald grandfather that hangs out in the
Yeah, but
wheelchair.
he's not gonna be able to hand the reins over. He knows everything. He can't hand the reins to another leader.
Oh, he can. That can be Nova because Nova is a cosmic being, and they're just on that same template. I'm pretty sure Nova has telepathic abilities based off his ungodly amount of abilities. I can't confirm this off
I
the
just
top
feel
of my
like
head.
Captain America, he's a more relatable leader. He's gonna get to the core of what your team needs.
Yeah, I mean, he's America's ass. So, I mean, he's got this.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good point. I just don't have him on my squad. And I would not bring him into the squad just to be the leader. I gotta have a de facto. I mean, if Nova goes down, you got Professor X. If Professor X goes down, you got Nova. I think you're on pretty solid footing.
But come on, Quicksilver? He can't pick up where you left off?
Quicksilver's
So the
whack,
only reason
son.
I included Quicksilver is because I needed Scarlet Witch on my team, and you can't have one without the other. I do like that neither of us included Iron Man. Like, get the fuck out of here with Iron Man, right?
Fuck that guy.
I don't
Boo.
need. First of all, I don't need alcoholic Iron Man, and I also don't need current cocky Iron Man fucking up and undermining, either Captain America or Nova or Professor X's leadership. Like, right?
Right.
Tony Stark's gonna try and throw himself into the middle of he's gonna try and make all the decisions. I don't want that. He's not a good decision maker. It's been proven.
And he's very dramatic. Like, super duper dramatic.
So I'll give you Nova if you give me Scarlet Witch.
Oh, absolutely. Scarlet Witch is fucking balling,
Right.
dude.
So we got Nova, Spider-Man, Scarlet Witch.
House of M, Scarlet Witch.
I'll give up on Quicksilver. But I'm not giving up on Hulk.
Fine.
So you got one spot left. Who are you giving it to?
Sentry.
Okay.
I'm going
So-
Sentry.
We've got Nova, Sentry, Spider-Man, Hulk, Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. That's a fucking badass squad right there.
I gotta change my notes so when we clash them, we know what's going on. Yeah, they've got a lot of bases covered.
Pretty much
You-
everyone that you could possibly imagine.
You've got
especially...
a few. Yeah, you got some cosmic powers. Scarlet Witch, she can handle anything cosmic or magical. Hulk, for me, you just gotta have the brute strength, and I like him better than Wolverine for that role.
See, that's where Sentry came in for me, because Sentry is definitely he's like 150
I don't know much
ton
about
club.
Sentry.
Of the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. Dude is a badass.
See, let me just stump for Wasp for a second, because she's a great wild card. She can go big, she can go small, she can get into places others can't. The old, just why isn't Ant-Man just crawling up Thanos' ass? We've got that with the Wasp, and she's better than Ant-Man at doing the things Ant-Man can do.
And she doesn't smack people. Well, not people she supposedly loves.
Right.
I agree 100%. She really fucking is. She's more acrobatic
should
and
we
everything.
throw Wasp in instead of Hulk then? Because Hulk's a
No.
little hard to control.
I think Scarlet Witch will have a handle on the Hulk. I do.
You think she can tame him? All right. So we lose our wild card. That's okay.
I think we got to lose the wild card. I think Scarlet Witch is our inherent wild card. House of M, Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Full power Scarlet Witch. Absolutely. All right. So for my DC lineup that I came up with, leader Batman, Flash Barry Allen, John Stewart Green Lantern, Hawk Girl coming out of left field with that one,
Dang.
and Shazam.
That's a fucking pretty good lineup, dude.
Yeah.
That's solid.
So what have you got to combat me there?
Sadly, I got Superman.
Get the fuck out of here with Superman.
I got
I
Superman.
don't need Superman constantly questioning my leader about what's good and holy with the world. Like, let Batman go and spin. Batman's got a better plan than Superman does.
Most of the time. But I
time.
think, yeah, 99.9% of the time. But with Superman can be that way, especially with the other people in this group, because they just don't give a fuck. I got Blue Beetle, Jamie Reyes,
like
more
that.
modern Blue Beetle, Green Lantern, John Stewart Green Lantern. Gotta say that. Martian Manhunter.
I had him. I took him off. He was my 6th.
Fucking love Martian Manhunter. He's a badass. And then finally, he's a newer guy. Damage.
Damage.
Are you? He's from the Dark Knight's Metal series.
I don't remember him. I just read it.
Yeah, he got his own little offshoot.
Oh, okay.
He was in Metal for like a second, but he's basically almost Abomination-esque in the sense.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, he looks kind of that part, but he's a soldier that can transform for exactly 1 hour into this being that's more powerful than Superman and shit like that.
All right, so here's why you need Batman instead of Superman. Is because Batman is going to come up with a plan to beat each person individually, whereas Superman's just going to fly in and try and punch him. I believe Superman can give a better, like, get up and go speech than Batman, but Batman is going to actually come up with the plan that's going to win.
But he can't fly.
He doesn't need to. We have other people. Green Lantern can fly. Hawkgirl can fly. Shazam can fly. Blue Beetle can fly. Literally every other person other than Batman that we named can fly. And you know what? Nobody on the Avengers can fly. So who gives a shit?
No, not necessarily.
Scarlet Witch can, like, hover.
And Sentry and Nova can fly. Hulk can jump like thousands of feet in the air. And Spider-Man, you got me there. He's Batman-esque in that regard, mobility-wise. But flying, I feel like that's just such a flying leader. I mean, he can go throughout the battlefild. I think
so we both
handy.
had Batman on our teams, right? We can quibble over the leader. You had Batman on your team or not?
I did not. I did not.
Because you don't think he brings enough to the fight.
I'm a piece of shit.
All right, we can at least agree on John Stewart being there.
He's got to be.
Okay. Okay, so who else did you name? You named Damage. I like Shazam over Damage. I think Shazam can do better. I think he can handle Hulk while the other people do what they need to.
I think Damage is more. If we don't have a superstar, ultra powerful, strong guy like Superman, I think we got to go with Damage.
But so you can't have Superman because you can't have Superman and Batman, okay? They can't agree on anything. To lead this team into battle, you can't have both of them. So we got to decide who it's going to be.
Batman. It's Batman.
Right. That's what I thought.
That's what I thought. Bitch.
Okay, so then I'll give you Damage.
All right,
I'll give you Damage if you're going to secede Batman. I don't know much about Damage. I'll let you have it. So you had Blue Beetle and who was the other one?
Martian Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter, and I have Hawkgirl and the Flash. So I don't think the Flash is necessary without Quicksilver on the other team. Right? Who is the Flash gonna fight in this situation?
Nobody but Quicksilver, really. I mean, he could try to pepper all of them, but
like he could kind of be this guy that maybe stuns Hulk for a second with his, with a good speed punch or a lightning blast to let Damage get in a good shot on him. Or, if he can catch Spider-Man in between swinging, maybe something like that. But I just don't, with this team that we're trying to build, we already have Batman who's underpowered. I don't think we need another kind of weaker hero.
I agree. And I don't know if he could build up enough power to really. It would be
Yeah, how much
futile in
space are
the
they going
end.
to have here? Yeah.
They'd have to be super lucky to, basically string it all together.
So let's go Blue Beetle there, and then I gotta go. I gotta fight for Hawkgirl over Martian Manhunter. I think Hawkgirl can do more with her nth metal armor and weaponry. She's stronger. She can help out with what's his name, Hulk, better than Martian Manhunter can. She can, she can fly, which is important as we've
Yeah, that is
discussed.
very important to me.
Uh, so I think we need that little bit of an edge there.
I like the nth metal addition.
Yeah,
The nth metal Hawkgirl is fucking
because
nasty.
if they've got Hulk and Sentry, you need two, powerful. So we've got Damage and Hawkgirl who can help fight those two.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Blue
this
Beetle,
is.
because so if you think, okay, leader versus leader, Batman's gonna find a way to take on Nova and even the playing field a little bit. Spider-Man versus Blue Beetle, okay. Hulk versus Damage, okay. Sentry versus Hawkgirl, and then Green Lantern's got to take on Scarlet Witch, I think, because you need something cosmically powerful to go against Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, and especially if I think honestly, Hawker would get the fucking floor wiped with her against Sentry.
That could be true. We're gonna break it down one-on-one battles, right?
Let's do it.
So our first battle is the leaders, Nova versus Batman.
Are you
Nova's
familiar with
Nova's more
Nova?
powerful, but I think Batman takes it because Batman, as we talked about, he's thought ahead. He knows how to take down, Nova before Nova can overpower him with some of his power. I had this as a, Cap comparison in my mind, but yeah, I think the same still seems true with Nova. Like Batman knows where Nova's weaknesses are before the battle even begins. Before Nova even knows that there's going to be a battle, Batman's on top of it. So
I
Batman's going to neutralize everything that he can that Nova can bring at him. You know, I just think Batman always finds a way to win. He can bring down Superman when he needs to. Batman's going to find a way to win.
we could always say that, but ooh, that'd be a challenge because I mean Nova was a soldier in the Nova Corps, and he has the entire power source of the Nova Corps within him. So not only is he cosmically powerful, he's insanely strong. Like if he gets a
Yeah, but
finger
Batman
on
knows all that
Batman,
already. As
Batman's
long as
fucked.
Batman knows that exists, he knows how to defeat it.
The only way Batman will be able to achieve that is to find some way to defuse the Nova Corps.
You don't think he knows how to do that?
I don't think anybody's done it prior.
Somebody's got to have beaten Nova at some point in his run, right?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, yeah. You
I
right,
just
Maury. You fucking right.
I just don't think Batman can be beat. Like
Uh,
that's his plot armor is like he's always going to find a way at him.
unless they get a hold of him and, give him a thunderous backbreak over their knee.
Right.
Ooh,
But I mean, he still came back and won that battle eventually too. So
that's true. But I mean, let's just say, for devil's, advocate's sake, that Nova breaks his back. Fight over? Alright. Yeah, okay. Batman will never fucking lose.
maybe, and then
It's fair.
Hulk comes in and just smashes the shit out of, or not Hulk. I don't know. Somebody else comes in and just smashes the shit out of him, right?
Yeah, totally. Big Bang Boom.
All right. So let's move on to that. I'm giving that one to Batman. I'm sorry. I just can't, in good faith, give it to anyone else.
I don't think I could convince you, so.
No, you're not going to. And I know the argument that like, well, Batman's just gonna win because he's Batman is not a good argument,
So cliche, bro. So cliche.
but it's like the argument for Batman to win things.
I'm right
It's
because
always the
I'm
final
always
argument.
right.
Only with Batman. Like I won't end any other argument with, well, Spider-Man's gonna win because he's Spider-Man. That's not. All right, so let's move on.
That's fair.
Spider-Man versus the Blue Beetle. That's a fair matchup, I think.
I think that's a great matchup and
Yeah.
probably the best that we have, in
I
my
don't think
honest
that.
opinion.
I think the last one we talked about is going to be the best, but that's okay.
Ooh, yeah, it's possible, but I love the
This
quippy
is
nature of
very
both of them.
intriguing. Spider-Man's going to be able to use his surroundings a lot to keep up with Blue Beetle because Blue Beetle's got all this tech that allows him to fly and move around easily, but Spider-Man can kind of keep up. He's speedy. He's got super strength.
Hella
just-
agile.
I think Spider-Man's probably smarter than most of these DC characters that we've picked, and I think that holds true for Blue Beetle. Spider-Man's good at kind of like we talked about with Batman. He's good at taking a step back once he gets his ass beat a little bit and thinking a way around. Okay, I got my ass beat. How do I not get my ass beat the next time?
No
Like
doubt.
I think Blue Beetle hits him with a few good shots early.
Oh
Definitely.
yeah, I think he gets him on the ropes, but I'm inclined to agree that Spider-Man will,
But
probably win
he's a
that
little bit of a
battle.
sneaky bastard. Like he'll hide behind a building for a little while. He'll recompose himself, and I think he takes it.
Well, I mean, he's really hard to spot. Like he's very sneaky, and if he's fighting on his home turf, he absolutely takes his hands down.
Well, and
There's
here's the thing:
no way.
if we're going with tech suit Blue Beetle, Spider-Man webs up some of those jets that are helping him fly. All right, you've neutralized that. You get some good webbing shots in his eyes, things like
Yeah, I
that.
was gonna say a lot of.
He can catch Blue Beetle off guard with web attacks and agility better than Blue Beetle can do the same kind of thing to Spider-Man.
He just I don't think he could keep up with Spider-Man in this, especially in close quarters. If he got him there, and he if Spider-Man was able to restrain him, which I'm sure he possibly could. I've never known Blue Beetle to be overly strong, and I think that would also come into play here because Spider-Man is fucking jacked, and if he got in close quarters, I think he could do enough damage to get through that armor and
Well, and so a thing
incapacitate
that
Blue
happens
Beetle.
in the comics a lot with Spider-Man is he nerfs himself, like he pulls his punches against human opponents.
Yeah, he
I
doesn't want to
think in
kill
a
people.
battle like this, he's not doing that. He's using his full strength.
Oh no, he's whooping ass.
Yeah.
He's whooping ass.
Plus, I'd like to see him just kind of web and swing the shit out of Blue Beetle and throw him across the New York City skyline.
Oh, that'd be amazing. And he'd be like, "Hey, I'm the first bug guy around here. Like, fuck you."
Oh yeah, Spider-Man would definitely win in quips, no doubt.
Uh,
All right.
yeah. Quality wise, I'd say so.
Yeah, nobody beats Spider-Man in quips. I'm
No,
sorry,
no.
because he's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
All right, so Hulk versus Damage. I'll give you the initial argument here. Who do you think takes this and why?
I'm going. I'm going with damage. I
Really?
think yes. I think an hour is an awfully long time, and as we saw in Endgame, or Infinity War, I get those movies so fucking mixed up. But anyways, as we saw, Hulk can get beat pretty quickly from Thanos, who isn't necessarily. I think damage is more powerful than Thanos, at least in a physical aspect. And I mean, an hour to be able to do that for an hour, you're gonna beat the Hulk down. You're gonna wear him down. I don't think he has the longevity to stay with damage. And the guy's name is fucking Damage.
I can accept that argument. In my original outline, I had this being Shazam versus Hulk, and I don't think Damage changes the outlook that much. Hulk he really can't die. And so when I was putting him up against Shazam, I think like Shazam would put up a really good fight, but eventually Hulk would kind of power through and be able to kind of beat Shazam back into Billy Batson. And once you're a 12-year-old, you definitely can't beat a Hulk. But
Oh
Damage
hell
doesn't
no.
have that same, unless you're fighting for an hour, then
That's an
Damage has
awfully
that
long
issue.
time.
Yeah, that's a long time. Like
Oh,
the airport scene in Civil War is like 11 minutes, and that seems like it's forever, right?
yeah, and
Well,
I mean that's slowed
the
down
final
for us.
battle in Endgame with Thanos is like 25 minutes, I want to say, and that seems like it's forever.
Yeah, it's the entire third act. It
Yeah.
feels like, but I mean Hulk does have this. If he could stay away from damage for an hour, but I don't know how he would know that. But if he
No,
could stay
yeah,
away
so
from
that's
damage,
that's Hulk's problem is he has to be rage filled. He can control that rage to an extent, but like if he runs away from damage and calms down, like he's just going to turn back into Banner, and that doesn't help anyone. So he needs to be engaging in the fight to remain Hulk, and I think you're right that he probably does get worn down a little bit.
he would
And
have to, and I think that sense of fear from running away, I think that would have a effect on him too.
yeah, I get that. All right, I'll give you that one. Give that one to DC. You get to argue this one first too. We got Sentry versus Hawkgirl.
Okay,
Because
Sentry.
I don't know much about Sentry. I don't know enough about Sentry. I can argue a little bit on Hawkgirl's behalf, but I don't think I'll do it enough justice.
I got you, bro. I will argue both sides for you because
Go for it.
I want to be unbiased here. So the Sentry is he is the power of a million exploding suns. He's super
It's
strong.
pretty powerful.
Yeah, he's stronger than Superman. He can do basically anything. He can control mass. He can not necessarily control time, but he has an effect on it. Like it definitely, he's basically the most powerful, one of the most powerful creatures in the Marvel universe, but he is fucking crazy, and that's what makes him so powerful, I think, in a sense, is he has an alter ego called the Void, and he's very scared of it, and he's basically, his power is almost like imagine, if a sun could lash out, that's
Hmm.
what it is.
I mean,
It's like, oh,
the sun does lash out.
yeah, and solar flares are a
That's
bitch,
that's
and
a thing that happens. So
yeah,
I
there's
get it.
that. Very, very powerful shit. So it's something where with that fear he lashes out, and it's fucking insane. This dude could easily destroy everybody. But if Hawkgirl, as an ancient being that she is, as we learn in Dark Knight's Metal and her
Like
previous
literally
lore,
anything else, yeah, that focused on the Hawk family.
yeah, they're ancient reincarnated creatures. That's a lot of life experience you gain throughout those lifetimes. And I think I'm gonna get, maybe, I hope I'm not construed as sexist for this, but as a fairly attractive woman hawk thing, Sentry might be like, "Hey, baby, what up?
Yeah,
My
she'd catch
wife's
him off
dead."
guard, and then
Yeah,
bam, that nth metal mace right through his face.
yeah. What if she was just like, "Hey, boy,
She just
boom,
says, "I am the void," and then knocks the shit out of him.
dude." There you go. I mean, that's
And her nth metal armor can protect her from that solar flare. Like, so you put Sentry up against someone like Damage or against Blue Beetle or one of those guys. Those solar flare type attacks that'll hurt them pretty bad. But I think the nth metal is strong enough to protect against some of that stuff.
yeah. Well, it's not. Blue Beetle would be disabled from the EMP, and I
Hmm.
think damage. I mean, an exploding sun. I don't know if you could really survive that shit.
Right.
That's a good question.
Batman's not even coming close to
Yeah,
surviving.
he's
And
toast.
same
He's
with
Sarah
Green
Connor
Lantern.
and
Maybe Green
Terminator
Lantern
2.
can make a shield out of willpower. Maybe,
That'd have to be some
but maybe not.
strong fucking
Yeah,
willpower.
exactly.
Not
So
of
are
just
we
one sun,
saying
but two.
Hawkgirl takes this fight?
I think Hawkgirl might take this fight. I don't think anyone else could beat the Sentry but Hawkgirl. Or maybe, yeah. I'm pretty convinced it's Hawkgirl.
I
With
mean,
the mini
Hawkman probably
lifetimes.
could, but I like
No.
Hawkgirl better than Hawkman.
No.
He's kind of shitty compared to Hawkgirl.
Hawkgirl's just a better character, and I think
Yeah.
being a powerful woman would really fuck with the Sentry because he's accused of murdering his wife, so
Oh
women
yeah.
like freak him the fuck out. So even if it's just a powerful woman, I think if she literally said anything about the Void, because he talks about the Void all the time, like, hey, the Void's coming, he's gonna kill you all, blah blah blah, and the nth metal armor and weapon, I'm not sure of the Sentry's dexterity, but
Yeah.
Solar Flare, I think you're right. I don't think it would necessarily beat nth metal because it's fucking DC's nth metal. It's
It's
nth bro.
magic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking nth bro.
All right. So the last battle, which this one doesn't matter anymore. DC's already won this fight. We've got 3 for DC, only 1 for Marvel. But I think Marvel probably ends up taking this one too. Scarlet Witch versus Green Lantern. We've got our kind of cosmic power clash here. I think Green Lantern kind of starts off strong on this one, but Scarlet Witch she'll realize his power is coming from the ring, and she'll be able to magic the ring off of his finger, right?
Oh, that or just, find some way to
Or
cut
smash
it
it.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rip it apart at the atomic
I
level.
mean, we saw what she did to Thanos in Endgame. Like, she is easily one of the most powerful humans or mutants in the Marvel world, just because her powers are anything she can think of.
Pretty much. And
Which is Green Lantern's power is also anything he can think of, except his is limited to he has to be wearing that ring.
Yeah, and it runs out of juice. If
Mm-hmm.
he's A, not wearing it, or B, it runs out of juice, he's fucked.
Exactly. And I think he starts off, gets a lot of good shots in early, but Scarlet Witch is gonna figure out a way to get that ring off of his finger, or just get his whole finger off of his hand. And once he loses ring, he's done. She crushes him at that.
Absolutely. And I mean, Scarlet Witch is one of those characters that Marvel has used to like jumpstart the universe and
Right.
part of their industry. Once again, we mentioned House of M, fantastic storyline. If you're not familiar, check it out. Very Scarlet Witch heavy.
So we had this battle. We had Batman beating Nova, Damage beating Hulk, and what was the last one? Hawkgirl beating Sentry, and then Spider-Man beating Blue Beetle and Scarlet Witch beating Green Lantern. So we had more wins for DC, so they may win the overall battle. But as you said, DC wins the battle, Scarlet Witch just resets everything. Fuck that.
Yeah, boom.
Boom.
No.
So Marvel actually wins. Yeah, we set it up so DC would win, but Marvel actually won, as always.
Marvel always wins.
So going into this, they got to have a reason that they're fighting. What do you think would be the reason that these two teams clash?
I think Hawkgirl and Batman get together. Hawkgirl's like, hey, Batman, I'm sensing some weird shit going on in the universe, bro. Batman's like, yeah, bro, I sense that too. And then he's like, hey, this character, the Sentry, I've heard about him. He's super unstable. We should probably go check him out. And that's all it takes. They
I like
go mess
that.
with the Sentry. And, the Avengers are not going to let that happen. It's a downtrodden man who's in prison. Yeah, not going to fly.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good setup. I had a little bit different one. I had the Flash more heavily involved in mine. We didn't choose the Flash for our teams, but that doesn't matter. The Flash still exists in this world. He's just not part of the team. So I'm thinking like the Flash is messing with the time stream. And the Avengers kind of figure this out and decide they need to stop him. Maybe the Flash is kind of trying to restore things after the snap happened, and the Avengers through what happened in Endgame, they know like you can't do that shit. You can't mess with it.
No. Or that's a big no-no. You get in trouble.
So they, they come to terms and they clash with these DC heroes to try and get Barry to come out of the Speed Force and stop doing what he's doing. And when it doesn't work, Scarlet Witch just says, "Fuck it, I'll reset everything." Maybe
I'll
he
yank him
kills
out.
Quicksilver, through the Speed Force at some point, and that gets Scarlet Witch extra pissed off.
Dude, if Quicksilver becomes aware of the Speed Force, if he's like,
Right.
hey, I'm not actually
That's
a
what it
mutant.
is. He says, "I can fix this. Like, this is a speedster doing this. I can fix it." And he tries to jump into the Speed Force, and the pressure of that destroys him.
Just rips him to
Now we've got a
pieces.
raison d'etre for Scarlet Witch to flip some shit.
Dude, we should be fucking writers. Let's do this.
So we've got a Fast and Furious Green Lantern slash fic to write, and now we've got an alternate Avengers versus Justice League to set up. All right, cool.
We got this.
Comic book writers of America, hire us. We'll give you story ideas.
Yeah. Look out for us. We'll be big names.
Yeah, we'll be there. Started here on a podcast about something.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that's our clash. That's what we think would happen. We're ready to write it. Do we think this would actually happen in the real world? Is somebody going to write this story where the Avengers and Justice League clash in comics, in the movies, on TV, anywhere? Do you think it's going to happen?
Yes, in the next 15 years, when
Wow.
DC is on its fucking deathbed.
I don't think DC is lined up for a deathbed, to be honest.
I think they're shallow, man. I don't think they have. I think there's a lot of one-offs that DC is coming out with. Like this is the last gasp.
So their
so
movies
confusing.
are hard, right?
Their comics are super hard too.
Well, yeah,
Like,
they're
just so
comics.
fucking.
They'll just reset it again.
But yeah, that turns off people. I haven't bought a DC comic in a while because of that.
I definitely don't see it happening in the movies. DC has way too many balls in the air right now. They've got the CW's Arrowverse. They've got all this stuff on DC Universe, like Doom Patrol and Titans, which are somewhat tied to the Arrowverse, but not really. They're like a separate dimension that exists at the same time. All that, DC stuff.
Yeah.
They have 3 separate Batman iterations, like in movies right now. Harley Quinn has 2 different movies of her own that are in different timelines, but the same actresses in both of them. The Justice League Pile of Trash Extended Universe was just a complete dumpster fire. They're trying to move forward with Wonder Woman and Aquaman still. They're trying to find spin-offs for Wonder Woman and Aquaman where they can. No one knows what's going on with the Flash movie that was supposed to happen. Superman and Batman are gone from the Justice League. Like, Affleck's not coming back. Henry Cavill's not coming back. So they've lost those characters, so they have to rebuild, but also
Again.
keep Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Harley Quinn and maybe Ezra Miller as the Flash. It's just a dumpster fire. And anyway, with all that going on, and Marvel being relatively tight in comparison to what DC is doing
Super tight.
on TV
Relatively,
in the
bro.
movies.
super tight. Marvel is hitting on all cylinders right now.
Not necessarily. Think about what's going on with the X-Men, what's going on with Spider-Man, and his villain movies that Sony still owns. Think about the different TV shows that happen with Agents of Shield, the Netflix shows, like Runaways, Legion. Those kind of things are all still in Marvel properties and all kind of spread out. So they're not completely tight, but they're definitely way tighter than DC if you're comparing the two, right?
Well, yeah. What my thought is if you're looking at the finished product or what Marvel is presenting, and the mediums they're presenting it, they're hitting on all cylinders. Right. I don't really remember a terrible. Well, that's not
Disney
fucking
Plus
true.
Is gonna
Netflix
come through with their shows, and all of those ancillary shows that I just mentioned aren't gonna matter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just don't exist. It doesn't matter that they ever existed. I just don't think an agreement could be made as to who goes where and why and how. This kind of thing in movies or even on TV would make gobs and gobs of money.
Gobs of
cash.
But
that's not the only thing that matters. Like, I don't think
what?
Marvel... It is, but it also isn't. Like, Marvel's going to make gobs of money no matter what they do, right? And
yeah.
they're not going... They don't want their brand suffering due to the lack of cohesion on DC's side.
I could see that.
They're trying it a little bit with the Spider-Man villains spin-offs that Sony's in control of. And we'll see how that comes together, but I don't think they would jump into bed with whatever the hell DC's throwing out there.
The only way I could see Marvel actually doing it is an animated venture.
Yeah, an animated is easy because it's not connected to anything.
And you don't have to pay a shit ton of money for actors.
Right, exactly. It doesn't matter if Robert Pattinson or Ben Affleck or any of these guys are in it, because it's just you get Kevin Conroy to come in for a couple hours and do some voiceover.
Yeah, pay him a couple grand and send him on his way.
I do think I agree with you that comics kind of have a better shot. They've done these types of things in the past, and so that doesn't mean that it can't happen again. DC's constantly rebooting, reintroducing lore. I've touched on that a lot. Marvel is kind of on the other side of it, where they're trying to tie all of their comic book characters closer to the movie iterations now, so that when a fan of the movies picks up a comic for the first time, they see Tony Stark that they're used to seeing on TV, not, what he originally was, is just like this drunk dude who's around.
This shit-faced guy who has a cool suit of armor.
I don't see it happening soon. I mean, you said 15 years. Okay, that's not really soon.
15 years is an eternity.
Yeah.
In the media. I mean, fuck the Avengers, that wasn't even 15 years ago.
Marvel's just trying to own the world right now, and
Disney is.
Right. But even Marvel is also. They're trying to own the superhero world. And to do a crossover with DC at this point, it would seem like maybe they don't have their shit under control. Like, maybe they think they're losing market share when they're probably not.
They're not. That's fair. That's fair.
I don't know. That was what I thought about it. It could happen.
We'll see. If it happens in the next 15 years, I will find you, and I will let
you
know.
This, don't worry.
Oh, hell yeah.
2035, we'll do Avengers vs. Justice League Part 2. It never happened.
We got this, bro.
All right. Do you have anything else on the Avengers and the Justice League?
I do not.
Me neither. So with that, we're going to move on. We'll be back next week with more. Thank you for listening. You can find us on Twitter at APA something, at alone_podcast. We just put out some new merch designs with our new logo over at tpublic.com/APA something. So check those out. They're really cool.
Super dope.
I bought a shirt already, and I bought a new notebook and something else. So I'm excited for that stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
So check all that out. Check us on Patreon, patreon.com/podcast about something. And as always, all the music for Podcast About Something is provided by those cats.
You gotta stay sassy.
Stay classy.